for what you do. You're obviously the few, the proud, the dedicated to stick it out and be here in the summer weather and the rain and everything else. I'm running for the one job where rain is a good thing most of the places where I go. But I bring you greetings from Washington, where we are winning the fight to slow down socializing our medicine. It's going to put $2 trillion on the backs of our children and grandchildren. We're winning that fight because people like you are getting engaged and getting mad and writing letters to the editor and finally rising up, and the Democratic leadership, Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and the President, are finally realizing that they don't have America on their side on this one. We can't do that without you. It's not about Republicans in the House, Republicans in the Senate. It's about Americans who are saying, we may not be satisfied with everything about health care, but we know that where you're taking us is the wrong direction, and we're not going to do that. We're glad to see that the Senate is slowing down a cap and tax, national energy tax regime. We hope that they continue to keep that idea on ice because it's a bad idea, even though they did drag it through the House of Representatives. So that's kind of a quick report from Washington. We had a lot of honks coming in here at the main intersection where you have fellow patriots out there on the street corner waving signs and waving flags and saying, you know, keep your hands off my health care. We're glad to see that kind of grassroots activity. And I think what that means is that 10 can be a very good year for our party. If we go back to the basics and have great candidates, great recruits in all the offices, we don't take our eye off the ball when it comes to grassroots. We don't focus just on the air wars and the media and all that stuff. We go back to the things that brought us to power in 1994 in Washington, that gave us the legislature back in 1996 in Tallahassee. It's the basics. It begins at the club. It begins at the county level. I'm coming home from that circus that we call Washington to run for Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture. Now, a lot of folks, when I get around the state, don't even realize we have a Commissioner of Agriculture. And they don't realize that agriculture is the third leg of our economic stool, along with construction and tourism. I'm from an agricultural background in Central Florida. And while all of that is important, I want to talk to you about what that role is in terms of being a cabinet position. You know, for the first time in 100 years, all of Florida's open statewide seats, all of Florida's statewide seats will be open. Governor, CFO, Attorney General, and Commissioner of Agriculture. So what that means is you, sitting as the board of directors for the state of Florida, we have to put a business-friendly voice on that cabinet to continue to push Florida forward and be competitive. Because as tough as times are for Florida, they're a lot tougher in California. They're a lot tougher in Michigan and Ohio and Indiana. They're a lot tougher in the Northeast. This is an opportunity for us to take a strategic advantage and go poach businesses and steal research and development and laboratories and top-notch faculty and bring them to Florida. That's what we can do if we have a strategic initiative to put Florida on a competitive advantage to the other states in this country. And we can do that. We can work on issues like energy security that comes under the umbrella of the Commissioner of Agriculture. Something that whether you live on the 22nd floor of a condo building on Boca or whether you're from a citrus grove in Central Florida, all of us care about a national energy strategy where we depend less on people who hate our guts for our electricity and our fuel. We can do that together. We can have a food safety system that protects our kids from bad peanut butter, protects our pets from bad pet food, protects our babies from bad formula coming in from China. We can do that with a modern, efficient system. And we can take advantage of the pristine and beautiful lands that we have. The commissioner's job, among other things, is to manage about 1 million acres of state forest. Well, one of the things that we can do a better job of is letting the taxpayers onto the land that they've already purchased. Opening that up in a time of tight economy when they're not able to go perhaps on the vacation they'd like to have and want to stay a little closer to home. We've got a lot of great natural opportunities in our state, and we're not opening them up to the people who've already bought and paid for them. Those are some of the things that we're talking about bringing a business background, a leadership, a background in Washington and in the legislature to Florida's cabinet. Because Florida's cabinet works a lot differently than most other states. It really is the board of directors for the United States' 4th largest state, making all kinds of decisions about energy, about business and regulation, about banking regulation, insurance regulation, things that frankly need a lot of help. So my name's Adam Putnam. I've been in Congress for the last 5 terms. I've been fortunate to serve in a leadership capacity up there. Before that, I was in the legislature. I have 4 small children, and I'm looking forward to coming home and serving as Florida's Commissioner of Agriculture, and serving on Florida's cabinet to get Florida moving in the right direction. And I want to thank you for what you're doing to help us be successful as a party at every level. School board, to the legislature, to governor, to the Senate. All of those roles are important. And none of us candidates can be successful without people like you who are willing to knock on doors, wave signs, phone bank, and do all of the things that make that success possible. So thank you for what you're doing to help us be successful.